So yesterday we learned about web development. Why is it important? Why should we opt for web development? And what is the future of web development? But today we are going to learn all about JavaScript, its history, and why JavaScript is very much popular, and why we are learning JavaScript over here. Okay, not any other language. All the reasons I'm going to tell you today itself. Okay, and at the end of the video, at the end of the lecture, we are going to see basically a small concept of JavaScript, that is variables. That how can you declare variables, how can you print variables, and all those things. And today you will be getting your first assignment as well. Okay, guys, is it clear till now? Should I continue with the topic? Okay, great. So yesterday after taking the poll, I came to know that almost 16% of you are already familiar with JavaScript, right? So don't worry about it. If others are not familiar, or if they are learning the JavaScript for the first time, you don't have to worry about it. We are going to go from the scratch itself, right from the beginning, like what is computer, how to write a coding language, and what is the history of JavaScript, everything from the beginning. Okay. So again, I'm going to ask you in the chat box itself, how many of you know about JavaScript as a programming language and have coded before in JavaScript? How many of you have done that? Okay, okay. I can see around the ratio of 70-30, that 70% of you don't know about it and 30% of you know a little bit or have coded a little bit in JavaScript. Okay, great. That's good to know. That's good to know. Okay, great, guys. So the only thing I need you from guys is attention. Okay, don't wander here and there with your minds. Just focus on the lecture. Okay, so that you can grasp all the things. Okay. So the first thing that we are going to see today is how does a computer work. Obviously, if you want to code, you should know what is the basic working of your machine, what is the basic working of your computer system, right? Right, guys, you should know that. So before actually diving into the JavaScript topic, I'm going to tell you a little bit about how does the computer work, what is the architecture of computer, and all those things. Okay, great, guys. Okay, can you see the whiteboard? The chat, please. Can you please tell me in the chat? Can you see the whiteboard? Okay, great. So as you can see, I have made two boxes on the screen. One is saying that this is an old system, and the second is saying that this is a new system. Right? Right, guys? So what do I mean by old system? Have you seen old computer systems back in the 90s or back in the days when there were big chunky monitors and have Windows 95 or Windows XP or something like that, right? Or doesn't have a window at all. Back in the days, there were no concept of operating systems or nothing or anything else like that, right? So what we used to do is anything that I want to perform in my system, I have to write a particular command for it. Am I right? For example, if I want to copy something, I have to write a copy command. If I want to delete something, I have to write a remove command. If I want to make a directory, I have to write a make a directory command. Correct? Am I right? Back in the days, I have to do all these things using command line. But today the things are very much fluid. Today the things are very much fluid. You have a user interface in place, right? You can do or perform things without writing any actual commands, right? Right, guys? In today's system, yeah, you can say that in old system you have to write commands like you write commands in Linux. But right now in today's world, Linux is also very graphical. You don't have to use that much of commands in Linux as well, right? So, okay, tell me one thing. While I was first, let's just talk about the old systems. Forget about the new systems for a moment. Let's just talk about the old systems only. When we were working with our old systems, for example, I was writing a copy command. Okay, this was a copy command. Okay, can I use this command anywhere else? Can I use this command anywhere else? For example, if I ask you to delete a folder or to delete a directory, can I use my copy command to delete a directory? No, I have to use a separate command to delete a directory. That is a remove command, correct? Similarly, if I want to make a directory, if I want to create a new folder, I have to use the make directory command. Am I right? Or I can use a delete command to make a directory. No, never. I can't do that. That means a particular command is serving only one purpose, right? Forget about the commands. What were the commands and all those things? Forget about it. I'm not diving into that. I'm just giving you a perspective of the old systems, right? So to perform a particular task, there was a particular command, right? Am I right? Similarly, in new systems, what we are doing to perform a particular commands, we have some applications. Do you agree? We have applications, right? For example, I want to edit a photograph. I want to edit a picture. There is Photoshop, right? There is Canva. There is multiple applications are there. And if I want to watch a movie, for example, if I want to watch a movie, there is a media player application. Am I right? Media player, right? Similarly, if I want to, you can say, click pictures on my laptop, there is a camera application as well on my laptop, right? So to perform a specific task, there is a specific application in new systems. Am I right? Do you guys agree with me on this? And what do I mean by application? If I give you a proper definition of application, what is the proper definition of application? A piece of software that performs a specific task, right? A piece of software that performs a specific task. Do you guys agree with me on this? Right? Okay. Okay. Great. So, can I run an application directly on a system, or do I need anything else? Can I run a application? Can I run an application on a system directly, or do I need anything else? What is that one thing that I need to run my applications? Operating system. Exactly. Exactly. I need a OS, right? We talked about operating system yesterday a little bit, right? What are some of the well-known operating systems we have? We have Windows, correct? We have Linux-based operating systems. We have Mac OS. Am I right? Right. These are some of the popular operating systems. Around 95% of you must be using Windows, right? And rest 5% must be using Mac or Linux, something like that. Okay. So, what is an operating system? What is an operating system now? We have already seen that what are applications? Applications are a piece of software that perform a specific task, right? That is an application. But what is an operating system now? Right, great. I got an answer in the chat box itself. Operating system is a system software. Now, what does it do? What does it do? Operating system is a system software that manages your hardware and your applications. Am I making any sense? Am I making any sense? Operating system is a system software that manages your hardware and your applications. Okay, no worries. I'll write it down for you guys. I'll write it down. OS. Okay, a system software that manages hardware basically. Okay, that manages hardware and your, I can say, apps. Okay, and also operating system provides a bridge between your hardware and basically your machine and user. If I want to interact with my machine, if I want to interact with my system, I can interact with it by using the operating system. Right, guys? Do you guys agree? That means in order to run a particular application, I would require an operating system. That is pretty well known, right? Can you run for example, let's take an example of a application. VLC media player is an application, right, in which you can play your movies, your MP3 files or anything. It is a media player. Can you run your VLC media player without having Windows in your system? Can you do that? No. That means you need a system software. That means you need a system software basically to run an application in your system, right? Okay. Should I go further? Shall I move further now? Okay. Great. Okay. Now, how many of you have seen this thing earlier? This kind of diagram or this kind of architecture. How many of you have seen this earlier in your school days or in your college days or somewhere? Okay, if you have not seen it, don't worry. I'll tell you what is it. I'll tell you what is it. Don't worry about it. Okay. Can you please tell me what is this? Who are these people? Who are these people? We are these people, right? Who are interacting with the machine. For example, right now I'm using a laptop to give you this lecture, right? So I am a user. Am I right? Exactly the same. You are using a laptop to receive the lecture, to receive all the knowledge that I'm giving you. So you are a user of your laptop, right? Of your machine. So that means, let's say, this is a human, okay, named Rahul, for example, named Rahul. One day, Rahul decided to watch a movie. Okay, one day Rahul decided to watch a movie. I gave you a movie recommendation yesterday, that is Ready Player One. Okay, so Rahul decided to watch a movie, Ready Player One. Okay, and he has already downloaded that movie in his system. Till now, are you guys coping up with the story? I'm telling you a story, for example, right? There is a person called Rahul. Rahul wanted to watch Ready Player One movie, and he downloaded the movie from any website or anywhere. Okay. Now he has that file in his system. Okay. Suppose this is the file. This is that file, that movie file, that MP4 file or that AVI file, anything. Now Rahul has a application installed in his system, that is VLC Media Player. VLC Media Player is already installed in his system. He wants to watch a movie using VLC Media Player. What will he do in case of Windows? How can you open up a file? You double click on it, right? Right, guys, you double click on it. So what will happen if Rahul double clicks on it? It will go to the application. What is the application? VLC, right? Yes, I know it will open, but what is the whole mechanism behind it? What is the whole mechanism behind it? It will go to the VLC Media Player. Now what will happen? VLC sends a message to the operating system that the user wants to watch a movie, or the user wants to play this media file. Okay, operating system goes to the hardware. That is why I said operating system is a system software that manages your hardware and applications. Okay, so operating system goes to the hardware and say, okay, the user is playing a movie. So whatever things you want to get ready, please prepare all those things. Okay, whatever things you want to get ready to play the movie, please prepare all those things. Okay, please be ready. Now, when the hardware is ready, hardware will tell the operating system, yes, I am ready. You can give the message to application. Now what will happen? Operating system will go back to application and say that hardware is ready. I have done my job. You can play the movie. Now what will happen? The movie will start playing on your screen. This is the whole architecture. Do you guys understand this? Do you guys understand this? Okay, no worries. I'll tell you 1 second. No worries. See, there was a guy called Rahul. Okay, Rahul wants to watch a movie, and Rahul has already installed VLC media player in his Windows machine. Okay, now Rahul double clicks on the movie file. What will happen? It will go to the application, that is VLC media player. Right? Now VLC media player will go to the operating system. That user wants to play a movie. What should I do? Application will ask, user wants to play a movie. What should I do? Now, what will happen? Operating system will go back to the hardware and say that user is going to open up a movie and watch it. Whatever things you want to get ready, please ready those things. Please be prepared. Right? Once the hardware is ready, hardware goes back to the operating system and tells that I am ready. Okay, you can play the movie. You can tell the application that play the movie. Now operating system will go back to the application and say, yes, hardware is ready. I have done my job. Everything is in place. You can play the movie. Now application will directly play the movie and you can see the display on your screen. That's it. That is the whole architecture of an application. How does an application interact with your operating system, and how does your operating system interact with your hardware, and how all the things comes into the picture, how all the things align. Got it? Did you guys understand this? It is pretty simple, I guess. Not that very difficult. Right? Okay. Great. Now let's move on to the next thing. Okay. Now, what is a computer program? What is a computer program? Have you heard this term earlier? Have you heard this term earlier? Computer program. Okay. So, when I say what is a computer program, what is that one thing that comes into your mind? What is that one thing? If I ask you, what is a computer program? Okay, someone is saying language, someone is saying software, someone is saying piece of instructions. Okay, very good, very good, very good. Someone has said computer program is a set of instructions. Right, I am completely agreeing with that person. But there is one thing missing from this statement. There is one thing missing from this statement. What is that one thing? Yes, exactly. A computer program are a set of instructions to perform a specific task. This is the complete definition of a computer program. Do you guys agree? Do you guys understand this? Computer program is a set of instructions that perform a specific task. Now you will say applications are software that performs a specific task. So what is the difference between computer program and application? What is the difference between a computer program and application? There is no difference. There is no difference between a computer program and an application. Application is just a fancy name for your computer program. Right? See, For example, for example, you are a developer. Okay, consider you are a developer and you are working in a multinational company. For example, you are working for Microsoft. Okay, and you are in team of Windows Media Player. For example, you are in team of Windows Media Player. Okay, now your manager says that you have to basically you have to make a new media player other than Windows. There should be a completely new media player. So what will you do? To make a Windows media player, obviously you will code it, right? Obviously you will program it. Am I right? You will program it, correct? So that means that new media player is basically a computer program. That new media player is basically a computer program written or designed to play media. That is to do a specific task. Correct. And you gave it a name. For example, you gave it a name Windows Media Player. You gave it a name New Media Player. For example, you gave it a name New Media Player. That means that name New Media Player is an application, which is just a fancy way of saying computer program. That's it. So that means there is no difference between computer program and application. Applications and computer program are the same thing. They are basically a set of instructions to perform a specific task. That's it. Do you guys understand this? Do you guys understand this? And see, some of you are asking what is the definition of computer program, what is this and what is that. Believe me, no one is going to ask you this. That what is the definition of computer program? What is the definition of operating system? No one is going to ask you this. I am just giving you all these things just so that you can have a basic understanding before going to the programming side. That how the things work. Right, right. Okay, okay, guys. So let's move on now. Right. Okay. Now tell me one thing. Tell me one thing. Do computer understand English? Does computer understand English or Japanese or Hindi or Marathi or Tamil or anything else, any other language? No, never. Right. So to interact with a machine, I should know its language. Okay, let's take an example. Let's take an example. Okay. Now, for example, you went to Germany for your studies. Okay. For example, you want to pursue MBA or something and you went to Germany. Okay. This is you basically. This is you. Okay. Now you know only Hindi and you know English. For example, now there is a person, there is a German person. Okay. In your university or in a supermarket or somewhere else, wherever you want to go. Okay. For example, you went to a supermarket to buy something, right? And he only knows German. Will you be able to interact with him? Will you be able to interact with him? No, you cannot directly interact with him. You will need some translator or something, something like that. Directly, you cannot talk to him, right? Right. Similarly, when I talk about computers, or I can say my system, right? This is my system. Okay. Now, system only understands 0 and 1. System only understands 0 and 1. Right? And you as human, right? You cannot talk in 0 and 1, right? You cannot talk something like this. You cannot talk in 0 and 1, right? Can you do that? No, it is not at all possible. So in order to interact with this machine, first of all, Also, you cannot write your code in zeros and one, right? Right. In order to talk to your machine, you need a language, and that language is basically your programming language. Okay, that basically is your programming language. Once you have written your code, or once you have written your set of instructions in your programming language, for example, Java, C++, C, or anything else, whatever language you are comfortable with, it will automatically get converted into zeros and one, and the system will understand what you are trying to say. What you are trying to say, right? Do you guys understand this? Do you guys understand this? We'll see how this programming language is getting converted in the form of zeros and one. We'll see it later, don't worry. But the basic gist is, if you want to interact with your machine, you will need a programming language. You cannot write it in English or something else, right? Let's say, for example, I'll go to my terminal. Okay, I'll go to my terminal. Okay. So can I do something like this? Can I do something like this in my terminal? No, I cannot do that. It will not work because it does not understand this. Correct. So that means I will need a programming language to communicate with my machine. Right, guys? Now, let's move forward. Don't worry about terminal or anything else. In case of Windows, it is your command prompt only. I'm using a MacBook, so in my case, it is a terminal. Okay, so don't worry about these things. Now, let's see. Let's see. Two major important things. You guys understood this example, right? You guys understood this. That to interact with my machine, I would need a programming language. Correct. Now let's take one more example. I'll just remove all these things first. Okay. Okay. There is a guy, for example. This is a person, and his name is Abhinav, for example. And one day, Abhinav came back from his college and asked his mother that I want to eat Maggie. I don't want to eat the lunch that you have prepared. Abhinav is a spoiled brat. So he said that I want to eat Maggie. I don't want to eat the lunch that you have prepared. So what will he do? What will he do? This is Abhinav's mother. Okay, this is Abhinav's mother. Now, he will ask his mother to cook Maggie. Right? Simple. Simple. So, will he be able to tell his mother that please make Maggie if his mother knows Punjabi but Abhinav knows Hindi, or Abhinav knows Tamil? No. That means they should know the same language first of all. Correct. So, what is that thing? What is that thing? That thing is your first important thing, which is programming language. Right, guys? That is your first important thing. Now tell me, where will Abhinav's mother cook the Maggie? Cook the Maggie. Where will it be? Where will Abhinav's mother cook the Maggie? In the kitchen, obviously. Right? This is the kitchen, for example. Now what will happen? Abhinav's mother will go to the kitchen. And do cooking over here. Am I right? This is the kitchen. Right. So what is this? The second thing. You can say that kitchen provides you an environment to cook, right? No, this is not the term. kitchen provides you an environment, or you can say, yeah, kitchen provides you an environment, or you can say a platform to cook or something, right? Right. In this term, in this case, it is known as programming environment. So in order to give a set of instructions to your machine, you will need two things. Number one thing is your programming language. Number two thing is your programming environment. Do you guys understand this? Right? Two major things that you will need: programming language and programming environment. Correct? Okay. Abhinav asked his mother to cook the Maggie, and his mother goes to the kitchen and cook Maggie for him. Can his mother go to the, you can say, to the bedroom or to the dining table and cook the Maggie? No. The proper environment is your kitchen for cooking. Correct. That is why the programming environment is very, very important. Is very, very important. So what are the two major things? Programming language and programming environment. Do you guys understand this? Do you guys understand this? Great, great. Okay. Now let's see this. Now let's see this slide now. Let me just annotate. Okay. Now see, this is your first thing. You have basically written a code. You have basically written a code. So this is your first thing, programming language. Am I right? Basically, this is your set of instructions that you have given to the computer, that you have given to the system. So this is your programming language. Now, earlier I said, computers only understand your zeros and ones, right? So they will convert your programming language into their machine level language, that is zeros and ones, that is binary, right? And how will they do that? They will require this programming environment for it. Okay, so this is the second most important thing, that is programming environment. In case of JavaScript, we call it JavaScript engine. Basically, JavaScript engine is just a fancy name for programming environment only. Okay. JavaScript engine is just a fancy name for programming environment. Both the things are same. Do you guys understand till this point? Right, great, great. Now, inside your JavaScript engine, or you can say inside your programming environment, there are some things, there are a few things over there, okay? The first thing that it encounters is the parser, or you can say your compiler, right? Right. What will it do? What will it do? Okay, let's take an example. For example, you have an English paper today. You have an English exam, and you have to write an essay. Okay, you have written your essay completely in your English exam, and that essay has no spelling mistake, nothing. And your teacher will check it and give you 10 marks, for example. Right? Now, again, you have written an essay. And inside that essay, there are some spelling mistakes, or you have forgot to mention some things. So what will your teacher do? Either your teacher will deduct your score, or he or she will call you and say that please correct these things. Am I right? Right. These two cases could be there. Right. Similarly, while writing the code, we are humans, right? We are humans. While writing the code, we can do mistakes. Right? So what will this parser do? This parser will completely check your code and tell you if basically compile your code and tell you if it is correct or not. If it is correct, it will get converted into binary. That is your machine level language, right? Otherwise, it will show you an error that this thing is wrong. You have to correct it. Do you guys understand this? Okay. And after that, once it is converted into your zeros and ones, what will it do? It will actually run the code, and the thing that you want it to perform, it will perform that thing. Right? Let's see it in a flow chart manner. Don't worry. Let's see it in a flow chart manner. Okay. Now, see, you have written your code. Okay. This is your code. Now understand carefully. Okay. I'm repeating myself. Don't worry. This is your code. Okay. And you have written your code in some programming language. In some programming language. Do you guys understand till now? Any issues till now? No issues till now, right? So this is your number one important thing. Correct? After this, what will happen? You will go to the parser basically. Okay, right? And this parser, what will this parser do? It will have two things. If the code is correct, there is no error. What will it do? Conversion to zeros and ones. That is binary, right? Do you guys understand this till this point? That is your machine code, right? And if it is incorrect, what will happen? It will throw you an error. And says, please correct it. Right? Now, once you have converted it into binary language, that is your machine level language, what will it do? That is, runs the code. Basically, it will run the code and perform the task that you want to perform. Do you guys agree with me on this? Right. Now, what is this whole thing? Okay, just 1 second. What is this whole thing? This is your second most important thing, which is your programming environment. And in case of JavaScript, it is your JS engine. Do you guys understand this now? Right? Right, guys? Okay, great. If you guys are having any kind of trouble while understanding these things, please reach out to your IEs in your stand-up. They will absolutely help you with this. Okay, right? Now, this thing is clear. Correct? Now let's see some examples of JavaScript engines. Now see, JavaScript is a language that works on your browser, right? JavaScript is a language that works on your browser, right, guys? Now, what is the JavaScript engine used by Chrome? Chrome uses V8 engine. Basically, it is just a coding and programming environment that is your JavaScript engine, and Google Chrome has given a fancy name to it, that is V8 engine. And no, this is not V8 car engine. This is V8 engine for your coding environment, basically a programming environment. Okay. Similarly, if I see for Microsoft Edge, it is Chakra. Okay. Chakra is the name for its JavaScript engine. Right, guys? And if I search for Mozilla, it is SpiderMonkey. It is SpiderMonkey. Okay. So these are some of the examples of your JavaScript engines for different web browser out there. Okay, guys. Do you guys understand till this point? Okay. Great, guys. Now, what will I do? I'll give you a Slido link. Okay, and there will be a small quiz, 3 or 4 questions only, and you have to answer that. Okay. Okay, guys, I have shared the link in the chat box. Please open it up and start voting. No, actually, every engine works in the same way. Every engine works in the same way. Guys, I have shared the link in the chat box. Please start voting. Okay, great. I can see 7 answers. Great. Once we reach around 600 or 700, I'll show you the results. These are very simple questions. Don't worry about it. Not that much technical. Right. Okay. Let's see the answers now. View results. Okay. So what hardware do you use? Okay. 79% of you use keyboard. Okay. Everything is a hardware only. Okay. Okay. What OS do you use? Yes. I told you around 95% of you must be using Windows only. Right. Great. Great. Which application do you use? Okay. 90% of you use Zoom. Okay. Right now you must be using Zoom because you are in Masai and you are attending all the lectures. I can totally understand. To run programs, what do you all need? Yes, know a programming language, right? Coding environment, correct? Yeah. Why you need board speakers and latest iPhone? I can see 1% and 2% of you have voted this. Why do you need a board speaker and a latest iPhone to run your program? No worries, no worries. The 2 major important things that you need is a programming language and a coding environment. That is a programming environment, right? Okay. So guys, shall I continue now? Shall I continue? Great. Okay. Now, tell me who is up for a story. Now we are going to see a story, not anything technical. Are you guys up for a story? Great. So, see, basically, JavaScript is a scripting language that is one of the core to develop websites. Okay, you already know that JavaScript is the core thing to develop websites, correct? 3 key components we have learned yesterday: HTML, CSS and JavaScript. So the JavaScript is a scripting language which is a core to develop your websites, right? Now we are going to see all about the history of JavaScript. Okay, so it is a story basically. So I guess you would enjoy this story. Okay, great. Now what happened in 1994? There was a person called Mark Andreessen. Okay, in 1994 there was a person called Mark Andreessen, and he published a web browser called Mosaic Navigator. Okay, so in 1994 it was the first web browser, Mosaic Navigator, developed by Mark Andreessen. Do you guys understand this? Right? Shall I continue with the story? Great. Now, what happened later? Later, the developer decided to rename it. He renamed it to Netscape Navigator. How many of you have heard this term? Heard this web browser, Netscape Navigator? Okay. Many of you have not heard about it. Okay. How many of you have used this web browser? Okay. No one of you have used this. Actually, I have used this web browser and it is a good web browser, but I used it 5-10 years back, not right now. Okay. So yes, Netscape Navigator is a was a really good web browser at that point of time. Okay. Now this is how Netscape Navigator used to look back in 1994. This is how Netscape Navigator used to look. You can see it. It has some of the similar features of a modern day web browser as well: home, reload, images, uh, find, print, and everything. Right? It used to look something like this. Now, Netscape Navigator became the leading web browser at that point of time. At that point of time, it was the number one web browser because there was no other web browser at that point of time, and it was basically doing many things basically, right? It was able to do many things that today's modern day web browser has have adapted from it. Okay. Now what happened? What happened? Then Microsoft saw that Netscape Navigator is so much popular, so I should do something. Netscape Navigator is so much popular, I should do something. I should introduce my own web browser. So, what did Microsoft do? Microsoft launched, or you can say published, Microsoft Internet Explorer. Right, right. Many of us think that Microsoft Internet Explorer was the oldest web browser, but no, it is not. Before it, Netscape Navigator was there. Internet Explorer came into picture after looking at Netscape Navigator only. Okay. Now what happened? After this, Mark Andreessen saw that basically Internet Explorer is also getting very popular. Is also very popular now. So what should I do? So what should I do to be in the market? Right? To be in the market, what should I do? Now, earlier, back in the days, all the things were static only. And what do you mean by static websites? That means they have no brain or no soul. That means only HTML and CSS, basic structure, and your basically some of the basic designing. No JavaScript. Okay. You can say, yeah, you can say some of the blogs, or you can say Wikipedia. You go to Wikipedia to read the article or something, right? There are not that much features, correct? So earlier, back in the days, every website used to be a static website. So Mark Andreessen thought that I should do something with these kind of websites. I should implement some kind of thing into it so that it could become more lively, right? So what happened? What happened? He decided that he needs a language, okay, that can be written directly inside the browser. A language that can be written directly inside the browser and that will make the websites dynamic. Okay. So what did he do? He went to a person called Brendan Ike in 1995. In 1995, he went to a person called Brendan Ike and said that I want a programming language that I can write within a web browser and it can provide brain, or you can say soul, to my web pages. And you have 10 days only. And he said, you have only 10 days. So can you imagine developing a whole programming language within 10 days only? Developing a whole programming language within 10 days. But basically, Brendan Ike did it. He basically developed JavaScript within 10 days. He developed JavaScript within 10 days. So that means JavaScript came into picture in 1995 and developed by Brendan Ike. Do you guys understand this? Great. Now, at that point of time, Netscape Navigator has an agreement with Sun Microsystems. There was a company called Sun Microsystems, and Netscape Navigator was having an agreement with it. Okay, and Sun Microsystem is the company who developed Java. Not JavaScript, Java. Okay. Now, this was the agreement paper or something. Now, when the JavaScript, in the initial days when the JavaScript was developed, it was called as Mocha, not JavaScript. It was called as Mocha. Okay. And later, they renamed it to LiveScript. And then from LiveScript, they renamed it to JavaScript. Now, why did they name it JavaScript? There is a reason. At that point of time, Sun Microsystem, basically Netscape Navigator has an agreement with Sun Microsystem, and Sun Microsystem was the developer of Java programming language. And Java at that point of time was very, very popular. Java was very popular at that point of time. So they thought, let's name our coding language as JavaScript, so that JavaScript can also be popular like Java. So they used the name Java with their scripting language, with their coding language, to make it famous. That's it. There is no other relation between Java and JavaScript. Do you guys agree? If someone comes up to you and says that Java and JavaScript are somewhat similar, no, they are not at all similar. Okay, cool guys. Now, what happened after that? In 1996, Microsoft saw that, oh my God, this is a great thing. They have made the websites dynamic. They have given a brain to the websites. So I should do something like that. I should do something similar. So what they did, they took JavaScript and reverse engineered it. Now, what is the meaning of reverse engineering? Do you guys know the meaning of reverse engineering? Okay, some of you know and some of you don't know about it. So basically, let's take an example. You went to your friend's house and your friend gave you a cake and said that my mom prepared this cake for me, and you really liked that cake. So what you said? You said, can you please give me the recipe for this cake? Right? But your friend denied. Your friend said, no, this is a traditional recipe in my family. This is a family recipe and I will not give it to you. Now, what will you do? You will eat the cake and try to remember and try to basically guess what are the ingredients. What are the ingredients in that cake, and try to remake it at your own house. So basically what you are doing, you are reverse engineering the cake. So what did Microsoft do? Microsoft took JavaScript and reverse engineered it, analyzed the whole coding language, and and developed their own scripting language called as JScript for their Internet Explorer. Do you guys understand this? So Microsoft reversed engineered JavaScript and made JScript for Internet Explorer, but it failed. It failed. JavaScript was much more popular than JScript. Okay, guys, should I go further now? Did you guys understand the story till now? Okay, great. Okay. Now, after that, what happened? Okay. Till now, we have covered the complete story. We understood the story and all, how that JavaScript came into play, right? What was the basic reason that they need JavaScript? All these things we have covered. Now, how many of you know what is the meaning of standardization? What is the meaning of standardization? How many of you know this? Or you can say, what is the meaning of standards? Okay, let me give you a simple example. Let me give you a simple example. You all like eating pizzas, right? You all like eating pizzas. Am I right? Do you like pizzas? Forget about the technical terms. Just answer my question. Do you like pizzas, right? And there are so many franchises out there for pizzas. Pizza Hut and Domino's are the prominent ones, right? Now, for example, there is a Domino's in New Delhi, and there is a Domino's in you can say Chennai, for example. Now, if I eat at the Domino's in New Delhi and then I go to Chennai and eat at Domino's in Chennai, will there be any taste difference? Or will there be any difference in the menus? No, right? Why? Because they have standardized it. They have made their recipe universal, basically, right? That you have to exactly follow this thing. You have to exactly follow this thing. That is called your standardization. They have standardized their recipe and their menu. Right, guys? Do you guys understand this? Do you guys understand this now? Similarly, there are many of you are from mechanical, right? You might have heard about ISO standards, might have heard about SOPs and all. These are basically the same things. Standardizing something, making something universal, right? So this is the meaning of standardization, basically. Now there is a association ECMA. Okay, the full form of ECMA is European Computer Manufacturers Association. Okay, what is the full form of ECMA? European Computer Manufacturers Association. Right. Now in 1997, Netscape realized that JavaScript should be consistent across all the browsers. JavaScript should be consistent. It should be same. Basically, it should be universal. It should be standardized. Do you guys agree with me on this? It should be standardized, right? So what they did, they decided to standardize the language under the International Standards Organization. Now, ECMA is an international standard organization, okay? And they decided to standardize their language under them. Do you guys agree with me on this? Understood till this point? Okay. Now, that is why JavaScript is officially known as ECMAScript. JavaScript is the name for the scripting language. That is correct. But officially, it is known as ECMAScript. Okay, guys. Should I continue? Should I continue? Okay. Why standardize? Okay. Tell me. If something is not standardized, there are more chances of blunder. Am I right? There are more chances of blunder. For example, I am a JavaScript developer. I coded something. I coded something, and there is a JavaScript developer in America. Okay, and if the JavaScript is not standardized, he might be using some other kind of way to write the code, some other kind of way to write the code, and that person and me, we both are on the same team. So there might be some conflicts and major errors also, right? There might be major blunders while working on a project. Am I right? So to avoid all these things, Netscape decided to standardize JavaScript, and and they wanted to standardize the language under the International Standard Organization. And what is that organization? ECMA, European Computer Manufacturers Association. So that is why officially, in official documents, JavaScript is known as ECMAScript. Do you guys understand this? Right? Do you guys understand this now? Great. Great. Okay. Sorry. Now, what happened? ECMAScript underwent a lot of revisions and improvements. Okay. Now, what happened? In 1997, the first version was released by ECMA, that is ES1, that is ECMAScript 1. Right? After standardization. First version was released, that is ECMAScript 1. In 1998, they updated few things. And released the second version. Like you have if you are using your iPhones or you are using your Androids, you get updates on regular basis, right? You get updates on regular basis. For example, Android 10, Android 11, and all these things. Similarly, in 1997, first version was released of ECMAScript, that was ES1. In 1998, they updated few things and released ECMAScript 2. In 1999, they updated few more things and released ECMAScript 3. Now, can you see that next version of ECMAScript was released 10 years later? 10 years later. Now, what happened in these 10 years? There was a time when JavaScript became not that popular. Okay, the usage of JavaScript went down. The users of JavaScript went down. Right. So what happened? Guys, is my voice audible to you? Voice audible, right? Great. Thank you. So for those guys for whom my voice is not audible, please check your system or your earphones or something. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So what happened? In these 10 years, what happened? That made JavaScript so much popular. What happened? In 2005, there was a person known as Jesse James. He brought Ajax. Now, don't get confused. What is Ajax or something? Are we going to learn Ajax or something like this? Just listen to the story. Okay. In 2005, Jesse James introduced Ajax. Now, what is Ajax? The full form of Ajax was asynchronous JavaScript and XML. Now, can you see asynchronous JavaScript? That means Ajax was working with JavaScript only, right? It is basically JavaScript only, correct? And Ajax was very much popular. And due to Ajax, JavaScript basically become somewhat popular at that point of time. Right? Now you will ask me, what is Ajax? Okay, let me give you a basic example. If I go to Google and if I write something like this, Batman. Okay, can you see? As soon as I am writing B, it is showing me some of the suggestions. Then A, it is again showing me some of the suggestions. Then T, then again showing me some of the suggestions. Right? Do I need to go and refresh again and again to see these suggestions? No, right? I am getting all these suggestions in real time, right? As soon as I am writing something, I am getting the suggestions, right? All this is possible because of Ajax. All this is possible because of Ajax. Cool, guys. So Ajax was basically JavaScript only, asynchronous JavaScript, which made your JavaScript popular again, somewhat popular. Okay. Now the next thing. Now the next thing. One more thing was introduced. That is jQuery. That is jQuery. Guys, forget about XML or everything. Don't go over there right now. You will learn it automatically in, later. You'll learn it automatically in future, but don't worry about all these things right now. Okay. Yeah. So jQuery. There was one more thing, jQuery. Now jQuery was a JavaScript library. Okay. Now what did jQuery do that made JavaScript so much popular? Now jQuery was responsible for writing less code and doing more. Now basically, for example, if you have to write a code to perform certain task and you are writing 10 lines of code, by the help of jQuery, you can write that code within 2 lines and perform the same task, or within 4 lines and perform the same task. Okay. So that made JavaScript so much popular. That made JavaScript again very much popular. Do you guys agree with me on this? Understood till this point? Right? Great. Let's continue. Now, after the years, there were many versions released. There were many versions released for ECMAScript, that is basically for JavaScript. Okay. Now, there is one more thing that made JavaScript very much popular. Earlier, what used to happen? You already know that JavaScript is a language that used to be written on your web browser, right? It is a language which is in your browser only. That is for your front end, right? HTML, CSS, JavaScript was used for your front end. We saw this yesterday, right, guys? Yeah, in front end only, right? But what happened? Node.js came and it made possible writing JavaScript at server side as well. That is at backend as well. So imagine you just know JavaScript and now you can code front end as well as you can code your backend. Right? So it made your task much more easier. Correct. Earlier, what used to happen, for example, you know JavaScript. So you can make your front end with the help of JavaScript. But if you want to make your backend, you need to know some other kind of language. You need to know some other programming language. Right? So this after the introduction of Node.js, it was piece of cake for many of the guys. They were knowing only JavaScript and they can code in front end and back end both the language, both the sides. Guys, am I going faster? This is nothing that technical. This is just a story. That is why I am telling you like this. Okay, great. No issues. So till now, what we have seen that in 1994 Netscape Navigator was introduced. Earlier its name was Mosaic Navigator. Then what happened? Brendan basically what happened? In recent went to Brendan Ike and said that I want a coding language and you have only 10 days so that I can make my web pages dynamic. And in 10 days, Brendan Ike basically developed your JavaScript, and then they decided to basically standardize it under ECMA, and ECMA released JavaScript on regular periods. But there was a point of time when JavaScript was not that popular, but some of the things were introduced within the span of 1999 and 2009, within the span of 10 years. Ajax was there, jQuery was there, Node.js was there, which made JavaScript so much popular. Which made JavaScript so much popular. Do you guys understand till this point? This is the summary till this point, right? Okay, no issues. It's 11:11 right now. We'll see each other at 11:16 and we'll continue. Okay, I'm giving you a 5 minutes break. Okay, guys. Okay, great. So, till now, we have seen a brief history of JavaScript, why is it important and all these things, why JavaScript became so much popular, right? Now, we are going to see JavaScript frameworks. This is also one of the reasons that why JavaScript is so much popular. Now, have you heard the term called framework before? Have you heard the term called framework before? Okay, just give me 1 second. Okay, don't worry. I'll tell you. Let's take an example to understand frameworks. Let's take an example. Just basic example. Don't worry about it. So, for example, you are going out for your board exams. For example, you are going out for your board exams, or you are going out for your university exams. And in your university, what is the basic pattern for your exams? Something like this. Let me tell you. You get a question paper like this. There is question number 1, written something like this. Question number 2, written something like this. 3, written something like this. 4, written something like this. Correct, and so on. And then you get a answer sheet as well. Right. You get a answer sheet as well. For example, this is your answer sheet. Okay. Now suppose you are writing your answers. You are writing your answers. Okay. For example, you know the answer for question number 1. You know the answer for question number 1. So you wrote answer 1 and wrote the answer. Okay. You know the answer for question number 2 also. So you wrote something like this. Now you don't know the answer for question number 3, but you know the answer for question number 4. So you write something like this and wrote the answer. Am I right? You guys do something like this only while working with your papers. Correct? Now again, suppose there were few more questions. 5, 6, 7, 8, something like this. Few more questions were there. Now you know the answer for 5th question, so you wrote it. Again, you don't know the answer for 6th question. So you skipped it and wrote answer number 7. Right? Now you have written the answer for 4 and 5th, but 7 you don't know and 3rd you don't. But suddenly what happened? Suddenly you remember the answer for question number. Suddenly you remember the answer for question number 3. Now what will you do? You will write 3 and write the answer. Then you remember the answer for question number 6. You will do something like this. Am I right? We'll do something like this. Right, guys? So what will happen in this case? Suppose this answer sheet goes back to your invigilator, or you can say your teacher, who is going to check the paper. So what will happen? Is going to check this one, okay, this one, okay. Okay, you have not done the 3rd, okay, no issues. Check the 4th, 5th, 6th, you have not done, then 7th. Then again you have written 3rd and 6th. He'll go back to the 3rd question and he'll go back to the 6th question to see what is that question and mark you accordingly. So can you see, this is a tedious task, and also it is not in an order, right? This task is not in an order. and very cumbersome to do. Do you guys agree with me on this? Now, what happened? What happened? Your teacher decided. Your teacher decided to came up with a solution. What did he do? What did your teacher did? What did your teacher do? In the question paper itself, the question paper itself, he or she wrote question number 1 and gave a blank space for writing the answer for that question. Then question number 2, then a blank space for writing the answer. Now, can you see this is much more organized, right? This is much more organized. This is what I can say. Your teacher has set a framework, for your exams. This is basically your framework. Okay. Similarly, if I talk about frameworks of JavaScript, in JavaScript frameworks, you will have a proper folder structure and proper locations where you have to write the code. Proper locations where you have to write the code, right? This is just a general idea of your framework. You will learn React in this course only. Okay, don't worry about it. And React is more like a library than a framework, but you will understand the difference between a framework and library at that point of time only. Don't worry about it right now. Right now, just focus upon the main topic, that is JavaScript and why we are learning it. Right? Do you guys agree with me on this? Great. Now, what happened? JavaScript has risen to be the most popular programming language in the world. Now, do you know GitHub? Do you know what is GitHub? Okay, so you can say GitHub is like a social media platform for all the developers, where they can basically store their work, where they can basically you can say store their projects, and from all over the world, different developers can coordinate and can collaborate to do a project, right? Now, that particular GitHub basically said in 2018 that JavaScript is the most popular programming language. Okay. Now, these are some of the frameworks. Can you see? These are the frameworks of JavaScript only. Only JavaScript. JavaScript has these many frameworks, and they compete amongst each other. Out of which Vue.js is at the top, then React, then Node, then Angular, then jQuery, all these things. Okay, right? And you are going to learn React in this course. Don't worry about it. React is a very popular framework. Most of the companies and most of the industries are using React only. Do you guys agree with me on this till now? Any issues? Oh, great. Let's continue. So Brendan Ike says that always bet on JavaScript. That means learn JavaScript, or you can basically practice JavaScript, train with JavaScript, and you can always bet on yourself, because JavaScript is so much popular that there will always going to be a work for you in the market. That's how much JavaScript is popular. Okay. Now, I already told you that JavaScript is a client-side language, means it runs on your computer within your browser, right? We already saw this yesterday also, that it runs on my browser. It is a front-end side language, that is client-side language. Then Node.js allowed JavaScript to also execute code on servers. That is, after the introduction of Node.js, it helped to allow JavaScript to also execute on the server side as well. That means after learning JavaScript, you can do backend as well, you can do front end as well, right? That is why we are learning JavaScript in this course. That is why web development, JavaScript is very important. Okay. Do you guys agree with me on this? We saw yesterday only, client side is basically your system, and server side is basically the system, the place from where all the data is coming to your system. Basically, who is serving you the things. Okay, great. Now, yesterday I gave you an example. I gave you an example for your HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. This is the same example. HTML provides you the structure, right? HTML provides you the structure that is basically like the bones in human body. CSS is the presentation, basically your muscles, your skin, and all those things, right? That is CSS. And what is your JavaScript? Basically, your behavior, your soul, or your brain, you can say, right? Do you guys understand this point? Great. Now forget about this thing. What is this? This is basically your HTML code. Now you don't have to dive right into it. That what is it written over there? How to write this code? Don't go over there right now. You will learn it. You will learn it. Just see that this is a HTML code. Okay. This is the HTML code. Correct. Now, what will happen if I have written the HTML code only? Something like this. The basic structure of your website. Do you guys agree with me on this? We saw this yesterday also. Similar kind of example. Now, this is your CSS code. Don't worry about it, what I have written over here. Just see. This is your CSS code. And what will happen? What will happen? This will happen. It will convert this basic structure to something like this. To something like this. Okay. That means your basic structure that you have made using the HTML is now converted into somewhat presentable kind of way. And this presentable kind of way is basically possible because of your CSS. Do you guys agree? Do you guys agree with me on this? Are you guys with me on this? Okay, great. Great. Now can you see what is this application is all about? This is basically an application to record your expenses. Okay, you have a budget, you are planning a trip, and basically you want to see that how much budget is left with me if I spend some of it on some things. Right? This is just an application for that. Now, this is the JavaScript code. This is the JavaScript code. Guys, don't worry about it, all these things, that what is it written, what is this application, and all these things. Don't worry about anything right now. Just see that what does your HTML, CSS, JavaScript do to your basically to your application. You will learn all these things. I'm just giving you a basic understanding of all the things. Broader picture. I'm just showing you the broader picture right now. We will dive right into the smaller details in our upcoming lectures. Don't worry about it right now. Okay? Can I continue, guys? Great. Now we saw what did JavaScript do? It provided basically the behavior or the soul, or you can say the brain to your website, right? So see, right now my available budget is 1500. My available budget is 1500, right? And my expenses are 0 right now. Can you see in the picture over here? Expenses are 0. Now what happened? I basically spent 542 on a holiday. Okay, 542 on a holiday. Now what will happen? Can you see what happened? Expenses, holiday 542, and it got deducted from my salary, and my expenses are now minus 540. You guys can see this. Can see this, right? You guys can see this. Now again, I added dining out and I added a price of 85 to it. It again got deducted from my overall amount. So all this thing is basically possible because of JavaScript, right? Because of JavaScript. Okay. Now, do you guys can see, right? Now, do you guys understand all this till now? How does your computer works? What are applications? What are computer programs? What are your operating systems? What is your programming language? What is your programming environment? Okay. And what is the complete story of JavaScript and why do we use JavaScript? Till now, we have covered these many points. Till now, we have covered these many points. And this is not your technical points. No one is going to ask you this in your interview. No one is going to ask you this anywhere. No one is going to ask you this. But you should know all these things so that you can understand why we are doing the things, why we are doing these things. This is just for your understanding. That's it. Nothing else. Take it as a story only. In last 1.5 hours, you have watched a movie. Consider it like this. This is a story. Okay. And if you want to repeat this thing, if you want to see what are all these things, you can always visit the recorded lecture. Do you guys agree? Should I continue? Okay. Now, there is now the actual JavaScript starts. The actual JavaScript starts. We are going to see our very first topic of JavaScript, that is variables. How many of you have heard this term variables? Oh, no worries. If you don't have heard this term, don't worry about it. Just to understand this, let's see a story. Let's see an example. Just to understand variables. Okay. For example, you got a job at Bangalore. Right now, you are living at New Delhi. For example, right now you are living at New Delhi with your parents, but you got a job at Bangalore, right? And your whole family is deciding to shift to Bangalore. Okay. Now what will happen? Just to take all your stuff, you will call movers and packers, or you will call some moving company so that they can pack your stuff and deliver it to Bangalore. Am I right? Right, guys? We'll do that. So, suppose your parents called a movers and packers company to pack your things and take it to Bangalore. Now, what happened? That person went inside your home and he has some empty carton boxes. Empty carton boxes. If you want to pack something, for example, you have a TV or you have a laptop or you have some fragile things like glass or like your glasses, or you have your mirror or something, you'll pack it with safety inside a carton box. Am I right? Right, guys? So this guy brought empty boxes with him to pack your things. Now, what is he doing? He's picking up things and packing it inside the boxes one by one. Now, what is this box? This box is nothing but your variable. This box is your variable. Okay, let's see. Let's see how. Can you see that this guy picked up the photograph and put it inside the box for packing? Right? Right? Again, a picture and put it inside the box. and then he named it that this box contains pictures, right? This is the very intuitive way of doing things. When you are packing something, if you don't want to miss it, that what I have packed inside this, what will you do? You will pack similar kind of things inside a box. You'll pack all your basically your electronic equipments inside a box, and you will name on the box that it contains electronic equipments, so that by just looking at the box you can remember, yes, this contains all these things. Right? Right, guys? Do you guys agree? Great. These things are nothing but your variables. So I can say variables are storage location with assigned names. Right? Variables are, see, variables are storage locations. I am storing something. It is a location in which I am storing something. Variables are storage locations which have assigned names, and then I am assigning a name to it. Right, guys? Do you guys understand this? Variables are storage locations with assigned names. That means these are some empty locations in which I am storing something, and then I am naming them. That's it. These are your variables. Should I continue? Great. Every time if you are getting confused that what are variables, that then correlate with this example. Correlate with this example that I am packing something inside a box. That box is my variable. That means an empty storage location in which I am putting some things, and after that I am naming it. That's it. That is your variable. Okay, guys. That is why I have said variables are storage locations with assigned names. Okay, great. Guys, I am not teaching fast or slow. It will take time only, because to give you a clear understanding, everyone is not at the same page, right? Everyone is not at the same page. We have almost around 1230 students over here. Everyone is not at the same page. So please don't create a ruckus in the chat. Okay, great. Let's continue. Now, what does variable do? Variable just basically hold your data that you can use later. Right? Okay. Let's go with this example. Tell me, once you have packed your pictures inside this box, when you reach Bangalore, you will open this box and take out all the pictures and hang it on the wall or keep it on your table, right? That means you are using those pictures at a later point of time. That means variables, if I correlate it with the technical term variables hold your data. In this example, this box is holding your pictures. Similarly, variables hold your data that you can use later. Right, guys? Do you guys understand this? Any issues with this point? No issues. Great. Okay. Now that you have understood, what are variables, we will define some variables and do some things with those variables. But before that, we have to see the coding environment. Yeah, I'll give you the example for variables, don't worry. But first, we are going to set up the coding environment, and at that coding environment, I'm going to give you the examples. Okay? Should I continue, guys? Okay. Great. Now, what is the coding environment that we are going to use in this unit? It is called Replit. If you write Replit on Google, the first thing, no, we are not using VS Code. I'll tell you later why we are not using VS Code. Don't worry. So we are using Replit for now. When you write Replit on Google, it is the first link. Just open it up. And what you have to do, to use it, what you have to do, you have to log in first. And you can directly log in using your Gmail account. Right? Right, guys? I hope this will not create any issues for you. You can easily open it up and no, don't do it right now. Just look at it and you can do it after the lecture. Just focus over the lecture right now. Okay. So I guess this is pretty much simple. You just have to open it up and basically log in. Right? Okay. Now let's continue. For the sake of this lecture, I have already logged in. Okay. I'll use the dark theme. Okay, I have already logged in. See, correct, guys. Now, to get started with these things, what you have to do? While you have to write a code, you will create a coding file. Am I right? You'll create a coding file, right? The first step. You'll create a coding file. How can you create it? Either you can click on this plus button at the right top corner, or you can click on this create. Right? Whatever you need. Just click on this create and it will say create a REPL. Now don't get confused what is this REPL. This is just a fancy name that they have given to their files. What we call files, they call REPL. Don't worry about it. Do you guys agree with me on this? After clicking on this create button, what will I do? I will select Node.js. Okay. Because you are working on on online platform, you are using Node.js to do all these things. You will be writing code in JavaScript only. But the template that you are using is Node.js. Okay. Don't worry about all these things right now. Just do as I am doing. Okay. After that, after selecting this, what you have to do? You have to name it. Let's name it to FT. 20, I'll say. Okay. I'll hit enter and it will create something like this. Okay. It has been created. Now, guys, can you see? Understood till this point? Understood till this point. Once you have created a REPL, you will see a index.js file over here. This is a default file. It will always be there. Whenever you are creating a REPL, it will always be there. See, you are saying why can't I use VS Code? See, basically in VS Code, you have to continuously save your code after writing it. Okay, you have to maintain that code inside your system. But on Replit, you don't have to save your code. It gets automatically saved. You have a backup online. You can get your files from this Replit anytime you want. So you always have a backup. That is why in Unit 1, we decided to use Replit only. Okay. Okay, you are saying please define the setup 1 second. Okay. Once you log in, after login, you will see this page. This is your dashboard. Either you can click on this create button over here. Either you can click on this create button over here. Guys, please focus over here. Don't write what about OJ, what about this, what about that. Everything will be introduced to you at the right time. Please focus over here right now, otherwise you will not understand this. Please. Okay. So either you can click on this create button, or you can click on this add button at the top right corner. So I generally do this. I click on this create. It will open up this pop-up menu. You have to select Node.js from here, and you have to do web 20. This is the name. This is the name that I'm giving. Then I'll hit enter. It will open up the coding environment for me. Things are getting ready. Okay. It will open up the coding environment, and I will have an index.js file over there. This is a default file. I will always have this. Do you guys agree? Can I continue now? Now let me just tell you few points of this. Now, this is the place, this panel is the place where you will write your code. Okay, this is the place where you will write your code. And this is the place where you will see your output of the code. Okay, and at this panel you will see all your files that you have created. This is a default file. It will always be there, index.js. Do you guys understand this till this point? What are the three panels? Here all the files will be there. Within the middle panel you have to code, and over here you will see the output. Great. If you want to adjust the size, you can just do this, something like this. Okay. I hope you understand this. This is not rocket science. This is very simple, right? Okay. Now you can see there are two things: console and shell. Console and shell, right? I will tell you both the things, but with a proper manner. First of all, let's see console, and after that I'll tell you shell. Okay, let's see console first. Okay, now see over here. Index.js file is by default over there. Am I right, guys? I have just told you that it will be there by default. Now, this file is already open, index.js. Now, what is this .js means? This is basically the extension of your JavaScript files. Okay. Okay. When you are basically writing something into your Microsoft Word, what is the extension of that? The extension is .doc or .docx, right? Similarly, if you are making an Excel file, what is the extension of that thing? Yes, .xls. Or basically your software files have an extension of .exe. Similarly, your JavaScript file have an extension of .js. Okay. Great. Now this file has already been opened. Let's see some examples of variables. Now I told you what is a variable. A variable is a empty storage location where you can hold your data, and after that you can assign a name to it, right? I just told you this, right? Empty container to store data. Yes, you can say that. Do you guys understand this, right? Now let's go back to class 7th or class 8th or class 9th, whatever class. Okay, at that point of time, when there were some math problems in which you used to do something like this: let x. Okay, when you have to find the value of x, if someone asks you what is the value of x, what you will do? Let x. Okay, and then you will let some value to x, for example 0, for example 1, something like this. You used to do like this, right, in your maths problem. Am I right, guys? Similarly, while defining variables, what I will do let. Okay, then I told you variables are storage location with some assigned name, right? With some assigned name. Let's give it a name as you can say x. I'm giving that storage location as x, and I am holding the data inside it. What is the data that I am holding? 12. And after that, I will do, consider this as a full stop in your JavaScript language. Okay, that's it. This is your variable declaration and assigning value. Right? Do you guys agree? Do you guys understand this? Is it difficult or is it easy? This is very easy. Right? Now, what do I mean by this? Variable declaration and assigning the value. This is let x is your variable declaration. You are declaring a variable, right? You are declaring a variable, and is equal to 12 means you are assigning the value 12 to x. That is why I have written variable declaration and assigning value. Yes, exactly. Exactly. This means the name of the box is x, and I am putting 12 inside it. You can say something like this. You can say something like this. This is your box basically. Okay. This is your box. And the name of the box is x. And what I am doing? I am putting 12 inside. Do you guys agree? Do you guys understand this? This is exactly your variables. Okay. Now let's define one more variable. Let's say let the name of the box is y, and I am putting 20 inside it. Is there anything missing right now? Is there anything missing? Yes, exactly. Okay. Now I have declared the variable. Okay. Now let's see what this do. What is the meaning of this? Let's see. If I click on run, it means it should run the code written over here and give me the output. Let's see what will happen. If I click on run, nothing is happening. I'm not getting any output. Why? Why I am not getting any output? Because I have just declared the variable, assigned the value. I have not used it. I have not used it. Right? I have not used the value. Now, if I want to get the value of x and y in my console, that means if I want to print the value of x and y in my console, I will use a magic term. I will use a magic term. What is that magic term? Just remember this term always. It will never change. Learn it. Learn this term. It is console dot log. What I want to print? X. I will write it. And then there is one thing that is missing. Exactly. Now if I run it, I will get 12. Right? I'm getting my 12. Do you guys understand this? Do you guys understand this, right? Great, great. See, what is there to understand? Simple. I have declared a variable. I have declared two variables. Now, if I want to print it inside my console, I will do this just to print it inside my console. Just to print it inside my console, I will do this and I'll click on run. That's it. Do you guys agree with me on this? Do you guys understand this? Okay, great. Now this is case sensitive. You cannot do something like this. Now if I run this, it will show me an error. That console is not defined because C is capital. Please remember, JavaScript is case sensitive. You have to use the exact same cases. Now if I run it, why dot is used, you will learn it later. Don't worry. For now, just remember this. Console log means it will print it over it. It will print it over it. Okay. Some of you are saying, what is the meaning of log? Okay. Tell me. There is a register. Okay. You are going to a shop and you are buying something. And after buying 2 kg of rice and 3 kg of, I can say, potatoes. Okay, after doing this, the person at the counter writes in his register that this person has bought 2 kg of rice and 3 kg of potatoes. What is this process called in English? This process is called logging. And what is this book called? This is called logbook. Am I right? Right, guys? So what I am doing over here, this is my console. Inside my console, I am logging X. Simple. That means I am writing the value of X in my console. That's it. Do you guys understand this now? I am basically logging the value of X in my console. Okay. I am the shopkeeper. I am the shopkeeper. Many of you are saying I am not getting this. I don't know why you are not getting this. This is not that very difficult. I am the shopkeeper. You came up to me. You came up to me and said that please give me 2 kg of rice and 2 kg of you can say kidney beans or rajma. Okay, something like this. Now I gave you the things. I gave you the things. Okay, I gave you the things. But after giving you the things, I am maintaining a record. I am maintaining a record that what I have sold today. So what do? I will write it inside a register that I sold 2 kg of rice and I sold 2 kg of kidney beans. Am I right? Am I right? I will do, any shopkeeper will do this for his records. For his records. Right? Now, what is this book called in English? In English, I am not talking about coding or anything else. In simple English, what is this called? This book is called a logbook. Similarly, what I am doing, I have declared two variables, x and y, and I want to write these variables into my console. Consider this console as your logbook only. This console is your logbook. I want to write it inside my console. How can I do that? By simply writing this console.log. Learn this statement. Console.log. Learn it. And whatever you want to log inside the console, you will write it over here inside the brackets. I want to log x, I will write x. I want to log y, I will write y. Now do you understand? Now do you understand this, guys? Great, great. Okay. Now after writing this, and again see, now 12 and 20 is written over here. What if I want to remove it? What if I want to remove it? I will go over here and there is a delete option. I will delete it. Right, again, if I let z is equal to 15, sorry, and I want to print it again. Console log z, right? And what will I do? Run it. 12, 20, 15. Do you guys understand this now? Guys, why are you working on your replets right now? I have told you to focus over here. Okay. Now we have understood the purpose of this console, right? And I have made a file. I have written this code inside index.js. Now, if I want to make a new file, what will I do? If I want to make a new file, what will I do? I will click on this. I will click on this add button, and right. Do you understand this now? I've created a new file. Now let's declare a variable. Let I can name anything, right? I can name anything. Let's name it label. Okay. I can give any name to the variable, right? Let label 22. Now, if I want to console it, what I have to do? If I want to console it, what I have to do? Yes, every file has to be end with .js. Right, correct. I will do console.log label. Right, right, guys. That means when I hit run, my console should show 22. Right? Let's see. No, it is showing me 12, 20, 15. Why? Why is that? No, I don't have to save it. It gets automatically saved. Let me tell you. This run button is linked with my index.js file. Whatever I do, whatever I write in any other file, if I click on run, it will not show in console file, console log. Why? Why? Consider something like this. My run button is linked with my index file only. Only works with index.js. This run button will always work with index.js. Okay. Now what will happen if I want to run the code that is written inside any other file? How can I do that? For that, what will you do? You will go to shell. You will go to shell. And can you remember? I opted for Node.js, right? I opted for Node.js while creating the REPL, right? So to run this problem1.js, what will I do? This is a standard now. Now this is a standard. Always you have to do this. Node space name of the file. Name of the file. How can you see I am getting the correct output? Do you guys understand this? Yes, you have to give command. Okay. I just told you that this run button is linked with your index file, and it will only run the program, only run the code which is written in index file. Understood till this point? Understood till this point? Right? Whatever program, whatever file you are creating, for example, you have created one more file, problem2.js. Whatever file you are creating, and if you are clicking on run, it will not run the problem1, problem2, problem3 or anything else. It will always run index file. Do you guys understand till this point? See, I am clicking on run and it is running 12.20.15, the index file. But what if I have to run this problem1.js? I want to print 22. How can I do that? How can I do that then? For that, you have to go to shell. You will not go to console, you will go to shell. And to run this problem1.js, you will write a command, and that command is node space name of the file. Name of the file is problem1.js. Now it is running problem1.js. Then enter. Yes. Do you guys understand now? Great. Great. Okay. Now let's see some few more things. After that, I'll show you the assignment. We have successfully set up the coding environment. Okay. Yes. I've told you the variable name and is equal to value. This is the thing that how we declare a variable, right? Now, okay. Okay. Now let's do few things. Let's go over it. Now tell me, when I am writing this, let x is equal to 100. I'm writing something like this. Guys, focus over here now. Okay. If I'm writing something like this, what is this 100? Yes, it is a value, but what kind of value? This is a number, right? This is a number, right? What if I write now? Is this a number? No. This is a string. In technical term, I call it string. Okay. Okay. So let's go to our code. I'll create one more file so that you can see how to create it. Problem2 dot right now. Now see when I'm doing let x is equal to 100. I just told you that it is a number type. Correct. Now can I do something like this? Let name is equal to Ajay. Can I do something like this? No. Why? See, I can store a name also, but this is not the format. This is not the format to do that. What will you do? You have whenever you are storing a string. Remember this thing. Whenever you are storing a string, you will store it inside the quotes. Got it? Got it, guys. Whenever you are storing a string inside it, store it inside quotes. Now, if I do console.log x, and if I do console.log name. Okay. Now tell me, if I want to run problem2.js, where will I go? Console or shell? Exactly, I'll go to shell. How can I run this now? How can I run this now? Great, very good. I'll do node problem2.js. I'm getting 100 and a gem. Right? Right, guys? Do you guys understand this number and string? Now, there is one more thing. There is one more thing that I wanted to tell you. Then I'll give you a activity. I'll give you activity for okay. No worries. You have already assignment, so I'll not give you activity. Don't worry. You have assignment. So what will you do? What you have to do is basically you'll do your assignments, but before that, I want to show you one more concept. One more concept, and that is I'll create problem3.js. Okay. Now, I have let x is equal to 12, and also I have let name is equal to right, guys. I have let x is equal to 12 and let name is equal to classmate. Now tell me, what is this 12? Is it a number or a string? Now someone is saying why I am using a space. When you are writing your first name and your last name, you use space in between. If I write Pulkit Tyagi, I will write a space in between, right? I will use a space in between. Am I right? Yes, exactly. That is why I have used space in between. Now, X is a number and name is number or string. How can you say that it is a string? Because it is written inside the quotes. Right? It is written inside the quotes. Now, Is there a way to check the type of your variable? Is there a way to check the type of your variable? Is it a number type or it is a string type? Yes, there is a way. Yes, there is a way. How? I can do console.log. Okay, if I want to print something in console or in shell, what I do? I do console.log. This is the step one, right? If I want to print something, am I right, guys? But right now, I don't want to print the X and print the name. What I want to print? I want to print their types. So what will I do? I will write inside the brackets of console log type of. Type of. Now, whose type of I need to check? I need to check the type of X. Now let's see. Now if I want to run it, if I want to run problem 3, how will I run it? How can I run the problem 3? Node problem 3.js. Right, guys? And I'll hit. Can you see what is it showing me? It is showing me that X is a number. Right? So that means I can check the type of a variable by using type of. Do you guys understand this? Great. Now if I want to check the type of name, how can I do that? If I want to check the name, how can I do that? First of all, what is the step one? If I want to print it, the step one is console.log. This is the step one. Am I right? What is the second step? Inside the brackets of console log, I will write type of and then again brackets. And inside the brackets of type of, I will write the variable whose type I want to check. Now I want to check the type of name. And then now let's see. Now again I want to run problem 3. How can I do that? By node problem 3.js. Can you see I am getting string? That name is of string type. Do you guys understand this now? Do you guys understand this now? We have learned only 3 things, 3 technical things. All other things were just story. What are the 3 technical things that we have learned? First, declaring. You can say we have learned about variables. Then second thing we have learned, printing those variables. Right. Then the third thing we have learned, checking the type of variable. That's it. These are the 3 technical things we have learned. Do you guys agree with me on this? If you guys have any problem with this, you can reach out to your IAs in the stand-up. And I don't think that you will have some problem with this. This is very easy. Okay. Now only 2 things are left. One thing is I want to show you where can you see your assignments, and then I will tell you a brief about OJ, and we'll learn about OJ in detail tomorrow. But today I'll give you a brief introduction of it. Okay. So guys, I would just need someone's ID and password for their course platform. Don't worry, I'll not share it anywhere else. I just need ID and password for showing you guys. Can you please, can some of you give me your ID and password? Okay, okay, guys, stop, guys, stop. I got some of the IDs and password. Can you please stop? Yes, please stop, guys. I'll see. I'll see. Okay, guys, I told you please stop. Okay, please stop, guys. Okay. What I'll do, I'll just show you some questions that might be there. Guys, I told you to stop. Why are you writing in chat again and again? Do you guys understand instructions? Why are you not understanding the instructions? Please stop. Okay. Or what I can do, I can call someone up and he or she can share the screen and show you the assignment. Can I do that or should I show you myself? Okay, just give me 1 second. Okay, Nishit, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Nishit, can you please take any one of the ID and password from your group and share it with me on Slack?
Yes. Just a second.
Yeah, because if I ask someone to share it in the chat, they will create a ruckus only. Any ID and password for just 2 minutes and share it with me on Slack. Okay. I'm using Akash Kumar Panda's ID, and thank you for that for sharing it on Slack. This is true. Okay. So guys, can you please tell me? Can you see the dashboard? Right. Okay. So in the dashboard, you must be seeing here this introduction to JS. Correct. You have to open it up. There will be four problems. There will be four problems. Okay. What do you have to do? Just go to problem number one. Okay. Read out the problem. The problem is print Messiah school in the console, followed by a transformation in education in next line. So you have to print Messiah school and a transformation in education in two different lines. Okay. So how will you do that? I'll not solve the question for you. I'll just give you a brief understanding how to use your replit and all to do this question. Correct. What will you do? You will go to your replit, for example, and this is your problem number one for your assignment. Okay. You will you will solve your problem. You will basically write your code over here, right? You will write your code in this code panel, and once you have written the code, check it that it is is it running or not. And once you are done with that, click on this three dots. Click on this three dots. For example, this is your problem number one of your assignment. Click on this three dots, copy link, okay, and go over here, paste the link and submit. Do you guys understand this? Do you guys understand how to do the assignment? Similarly, go to your problem number two. Read the problem. Read the problem. Create the file. Okay. Create the file. Solve the problem by writing the code. Check is it working fine or not. And if it is working fine, click on this three dots. Copy the link. Go to the problem and paste the link and submit it. Right? Do you understand this now? How to solve the assignment? Okay, guys, do you understand this? Okay, great. And once more, thank you, Akash, for sharing the ID. Okay, great. So this is your assignment for today. No, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a brief introduction about OJ. Okay, some of you might have got your OJ credentials on your email ID. Some of you might have got your OJ credentials on your email ID. And if you have not received it yet, don't worry, you will receive it by today or by tomorrow morning. I'll just show you what is OJ and uh, how do you use your credentials to log in onto the OJ, right? Now this is basically your OJ. Once you go to oj.masaischool.com, it will ask you to log in. Okay, let me first tell you what is OJ. OJ basically means online judge. Okay, you will get some problem statements over here. You will get some problem statements, some assignments over here. Okay, and you have to solve those assignments on your OJ platform only, not on Replit, on your OJ platform only. Similar to your Replit, you will be having a panel to write your code. Okay, and all these things will be there on your OJ as well. So some of your assignments will be on your OJ. You will have some problem statements and you will solve these problems over OJ only. Okay. Okay. This is your OJ basically. And uh, in detail, we'll see how to solve the problems on OJ and how to check the errors and all these things in tomorrow's session. In tomorrow's session, I just wanted to show you, just give you a brief introduction about OJ and how can you log into your OJ by using the credentials that has already been shared to your email ID. And if you have not received the credentials, don't worry, you'll receive it by today or by tomorrow morning itself. Okay. So how to log in? Simple. If you have your credentials, you can log in simply by using those credentials. Once you log in, you will see your basically Masai code at the top right corner. That means you have already logged in. Okay, and you will be getting some assignments over here. That's how you log in using your credentials over OJ, right? And if you have any kind of doubts related to this, there will be a OJ support session in today's evening. Okay, regarding your credentials are not working, you are not able to log in or something, you will have a OJ support session today. Okay, you can attend that session. Got it, guys? Great. In detail about OJ, we'll see in tomorrow's session. Right now, okay. There is one more thing that I wanted to tell you. First of all, let's delete these things. Okay. Now tell me one thing. If I am writing this, if I am writing this, sorry, a mobile number of some person, okay. If I am writing this, should it be a number or should it be a string? No, I know right now I have written it in the form of number, but I am asking you guys, should it be a number or a string? It should be a string actually. Now you'll say why? Why it should be a string? Yes, I'll give you the reason. Anything that you don't want to change, anything that you don't want to change, you will write it in form of string. Do you want to change your number at this point? Do you want to perform some addition, subtraction, or multiplication with your mobile number? No. That means your number is not going to change. So you will put it inside strings. Basically, whatever you want to be constant. Whatever you want to be constant. Whatever you think that I should keep this thing as constant, you will write it in form of string. Now tell me, similarly, if I have a pin code, should it be number or should it be string? Why string? Why it should be string? Because it should not change, right? Because it should not change. Right, guys? So do you guys understand this as well? Great. Great. Now tell me, is this a string or a number? Your vehicle number, your car number, or your bike number? Is it a string or a number? It is a string, exactly. So string can be a combination of your numbers, your symbols, your characters, anything. String can be a combination of that. Got it? Okay, great. Okay. At last, I just wanted to give you the last feedback poll. Okay. Just give me 1 second. I have pasted the link in the chat box only, the Slido link. Please open it up and start polling. We'll see all those things in tomorrow's session as well. That can I give the number variable name as a character, sorry, as a symbol or a number. We'll see all these things in tomorrow's session. Don't worry. Right now, I just wanted to introduce you with variables. Today's assignment you will do it on Replit. I have already told you how to do it on Replit and how to basically paste your link, right? When we reach 750, I'll view the results. Don't worry. Okay. Let's see the numbers. Okay, great. For 17% of you, it was a little challenging. And for 2% of you, it was very difficult. But we have not learned anything technical. We have learned only three technical things. Declaring variables, printing the variables, and checking the type of variable. That's it. All other things was just a story. You can consider it as a movie script, nothing else. Don't worry, you will get along. Don't worry about it. Okay. What was your favorite part in today's session? It was Replit, history of JavaScript, great. Variables, writing code in Replit, story of JS, great, great. Okay, great guys, great. So that is all I wanted to. Tell you guys today. So I hope you have a good day and all the best with your assignments. Okay, bye guys. Thank you. Thank you very much.